Hello once again everybody, this is Jason from HNS Games. What this is basically test video number 8. I believe I've lost count and I've lost my mind trying to film these things. We'll see how it goes. If this works, I'll post it. If not, I'm going to quit and give up and live to film another day. But basically what I hope to do is run through the preliminary stuff that occurs prior to playing engagement in Ostfront. It might seem overwhelming or it might not. I'll let you decide, but give you a taste of some of the flavor that can be expected when doing so. So, a number of ways to do so. You got your handy dandy rule book. You also have what's called an Ostfront sequence of play. Consult that, which is what we'll do, and to go accordingly. So, first thing you'll do is establish and record your rank and stats as leader on the German unit card, and I've already done that. Simply consult the German leader activation chart, generation chart rather, and roll on that. You'll do the same for each of your 3 squads, which I've already done. Roll on the German squad generation chart and mark accordingly. Then you will roll on the German support weapon generation chart we rolled for demolition charge. Once that's done, you will attach your leader to a specific squad, and you will attach your support weapon to a specific squad as well. Now that might seem like a moot point, as you all start, the entire platoon will start stacked together in the center hex, but once things kick off and squads diverge in different directions, you'll need to have this stuff predetermined. So next thing you will need to do is consult the respective scenario for terrain placement. Basically, we've already done that, and what I've got here is the Bialystok first scenario, and there's the terrain arrangement there, and there it is represented on the viewfinder. So we've already done that. Then we will mark the month. So pretty straightforward. It is June as stated on the scenario card. We'll consult the engagement chart and mark the particular type of engagement. Now there can be 3 types of engagement. There can be advanced, battle, or counterattack, and we will determine what we've got going right now. So roll 1 dice 6, consult the month, June of 5. That will be an advanced type of engagement, which is not uncommon for June. Next thing we do is consult the weather chart and mark the weather. You're going to take 2 die 10. I'll roll them both, and that reads as 44. So 44 in June is clear. It is relatively typical, although I've gotten overcast the last couple of times now. Once you've done that, roll 1 dice 6 and mark the sniper track. That's a 6. Mark the sniper track as such. And I've been using these guys now. That's not required. You could just as easily use this and mark everything, but I prefer these guys. So there's our sniper activation track marked. Then we're going to mark the 0 space to the victory point track, which I have just done. And unless specified otherwise, via scenario rule, mark the first space of the sudden death track. Well, it does specify otherwise, so we will be marking not the first space, but the 7th space. Why do we do that? Because this is an accelerated scenario. It's the beginning scenario. That is why. Determine your platoon's initial deployment. That can consist of, again, 1 of 3 things: non-movement, non-assault movement, or assault movement. So we will roll, again, 2 die 10. That is read as 60. For an advanced engagement, that results in non-assault moving. So we're moving rather noisily down the lane. We'll place our platoon in the center hex accordingly. Consult the engagement chart to determine expected enemy resistance and mark the result. So again, 1 of 3 possibilities for expected enemy resistance: light, medium, or heavy. So let's roll on the expected enemy resistance and strength chart. Roll 1 dice 6. That is a 4 for June. It's going to be light. That means no more than 2 squads can be expected unless we roll a random event. Then deals with reinforcements, but we'll see about that. Roll for enemy units according to the active action chart. Record all relevant info on the Soviet unit cards. So basically we will do what we did in the beginning for the Germans with the Soviets, starting by determining if the Soviets even have a leader. Possibility they won't. Rolling a 7. They are stuck with a... It's interesting. They get a commissar. Poor bastard. So mark him accordingly. 8 making 1 commissar. Place him up here. And for your 2 squads, what we're going to do, we're going to roll on the Soviet squad generation chart. Roll 2 dice 6. Getting an 8, that leaves a 5, 2, 7. Mark that accordingly. Rolling finally for our second and final Soviet squad, we rolled a 4, and that results in a 4, 4, 7. It is possible that you can roll for partisan units, which basically suck, but that is a possibility as well. And we will roll finally on our Soviet support weapon generation chart, see if we get anything, or if we do, what it is. Do not roll anything. So they are support weaponless. Then we'll do just like we did the Germans, attach the leader to one of these squads. I'll just go ahead and attach the first squad. That leaves second squad. And that leaves determining your platoon's initial deployment. We've already done that. Consult the engagement. Let's see. Roll for enemy units according to the active chart. Here we go. Place enemy units. Sorry, I bumped my marker. Place enemy units on the map according to the hex template. What, you ask, is a hex template? That would be this. That is going to determine where these guys go. So rolling 1 die 8, we roll a 2. Rolling a 2. That means nothing at this point. Roll another one. And we roll a 3. He's going to go right on the tip of this wheat field in front of us. For the second final squad, we roll 2 again. That means somewhere up front. And 7. Interesting. Now it's somewhat rare that they all stack together, but it does happen. And this may seem completely random what I'm doing, but it's not. Majority of the units will activate forward, lesser so to the flanks, and even lesser still to the rear. But that's the result we get this time. And that leaves rolling for each side's action points and setting the tracks. Leaders always start with 2. And the squad action point tracks we'll have to roll for the Germans. They get 6, which is the best possible result you can get. For the Soviets, 2, which is almost the worst result you can get. With that done, we will, for each on-map Soviet squad and leader, place the corresponding Soviet squad and leader chits in a cup to be drawn randomly. To do that, we take, well, we have a leader, first squad and second squad. So what we will do with these is, these guys here, place these in a cup. Now these represent the on-map units. Place those in a cup to be drawn randomly, and then do the same for the casualty markers. And I don't know if many of you have seen the last video, I've already mentioned this. Casualty markers can be anywhere from pinned, nothing, suppressed, or broken. Place those in a cup. Combat rolls around, be drawn from that. And that's pretty much it for the preliminary stuff. Not so bad, huh? Once you get the hang of it, rolls pretty quickly. Depending on if you're playing a campaign or not, there's some variations to the theme. Once you go from here, you're going to roll to see if there's an ambush or not. Based on that, you'll basically proceed to the battle round sequence. When that occurs, you're going to determine the initiative, that is, which side goes first. Once the Germans get their first turn, excuse me, they will begin basically by spotting to see what they can see, more or less. They'll at that point be able to call for any artillery or airstrikes, and then there's a gambit of possible actions that can take place during a turn once a unit activates. I should add any unit that does wish to activate will have to be rolled for to do so. That's more or less similar to a morale check. There will be things that affect a unit's ability to activate, anything from being pinned to suppressed to broken. So you may want to activate a unit and not be able to. It's an interesting possibility. Once you run through a typical turn, that is if both sides have either exhausted all available action points, or all on-map units are exhausted, then your turn's over. So when that happens, you're going to roll 1 dice 6, advance the sudden death track. Bear in mind that the number rolled may coincide with the sniper activation number, which will affect some things. What else? You will check your victory point marker if it's to the right for having eliminated enemy strength points. Basically you win. If it's to the left, you've lost. You're going to distribute your victory points accordingly. Check for any rating improvements for your squads or leader. If you look at this card, that little track on the right, once it becomes full, will allow this unit to bump up to the next best unit, next better unit. So there's that stuff. And what else? You can roll for awards for your leader. Anything from Iron Cross, First Class, Second Class, Knight's Cross, Oak Leaves, etc. Roll for that stuff. And that's pretty much it. So I think mission accomplished. I've been able to show you some preliminary stuff, what you need to do before a typical engagement. Just want to get you a taste of what things are like with this. See what you think. And that's pretty much it. Got more videos to come, more stuff to cover. So don't you fret. Thanks for watching, and until next time, you guys have a great weekend.